What they get is English as a second language, and they learn to speak perfect English. Now, at home, they would speak Afghani or Turk or whatever it is, or Spanish at home with their parents. But when they come out and they go to school, they learn English as a second language, which makes them able to compete. They'll be able to speak their mama and daddy's language, but they'll also be able to speak perfect, perfectly structured English from their ESL classes. And we're at a disadvantage because of that. Because we're learning English from the radio and from rappers, or a lot of young people are.
Okay, I gotta briefly ask this question because this is what's going on currently. One thing that the media is not discussing is an increase in violence in Chicago public schools, and particularly in high schools. Fights are a daily occurrence. Some are deadly, some with dealing with weapons. Some Chicago public school educators are saying they are in fear of their lives. Some have decided to either retire early or transfer to another district. The Chicago Police Department contract was renewed. What is going on in Chicago public school system and the students and teachers' safety there?
Well, I would agree with them. I mean, if I'm a high school teacher in Chicago and a couple of kids start fighting in the classroom, what do you do? You're not armed. What do you do? They came to school with this beef and now they're acting out. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this whole spirit of violence that has seems to have pervaded all levels of our community. Black people are doing this, y'all. Black people are doing this. Black people, not Asians, not white people. We're the ones doing the shooting and killing. The vast majority of it. So what are we doing at home in our homes that's causing this? I don't know the answer to that, but I know that we're doing it. And it's fights, it's beefs, it's you resolve things with by fighting. And if a weapon is handy, and a lot of cases there are, shooting and killing.
So, what you think the answer should be?
I don't have it, man. I don't have the answer to. I mean, you got to teach your kids how conflict resolution. Certainly, you got to
But don't
teach
you
them
think?
that. And
Don't you think? And I've been like they always say, let's have a meeting. Let's have a meeting. You're smiling. Why you keep on making me laugh
I
during
mean,
this? Let's have a meeting. Let's think about. Let's share ideas. And it's not about the
kumbaya,
yeah,
Lord,
yeah.
kumbaya.
Let's share, and it's always their side, their way, meaning the leaders, no way or the highway, meaning the school officials, the district, and stuff like that. When parents voice their concern, what I'm saying is, should there be the Black Caucus to kind of like come up with a plan? If you're going to graduate, we need to have some etiquette courses and make it mandatory. Let's say before you graduate from 8th grade and twice before you graduate from high school. That gives you the de-escalation and know how to treat people, especially in particular how a woman should act like a woman, because you're talking about the twerking generation, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and what you think?
Well,
Should we propose?
you know,
Should we propose mandatory etiquette
you
for
know,
grammar school and high school?
every child brought into this world, and women birth children, not men, women birth children, men father children. Every child brought into this world deserves, has a birthright to be raised by the woman who, from whose womb that child came, and the father, the man who fathered the child, needs to be raised every day of their life by those two people. That has to happen. And as soon as we get back to that, we'll have a way to communicate with these young people and to teach them right from wrong. This whole business of being able to go out and have as many kids as you want and not have to be with them every day, that a lot of young brothers, this is how they roll. That's what's causing this. They're not fathering these children, not parenting these children. They're fathering them, but they're not parenting these kids. They should be in contact every day. Now, traditionally, that meant that a man and a woman got married, had children. There wasn't anything wrong with that. There wasn't anything wrong with that. And how do we return to that?
Do you think the government started this? Because let's say, people were on public assistance. In order to be on public assistance, you had to be a single mom, and usually the dad had to be kicked out.
Mm-hmm. So we don't blame the government for our destruction, and you can. But are we going to let the government destroy us as a people? I don't know. I mean, in terms of what he says to black folks about what we should be to each other, I mean, the Minister Louis Farrakhan is on point. He speaks to black folks, and it really distresses me when I see the mainstream media and the politicians try to denounce Minister Farrakhan when he is speaking to us and telling us what we need to do as a people to survive. All the other stuff, that's on them.
Then I'm going to debate you on that.
Debate
because myself, have asked 27 times for Minister Louis Farrakhan to come on this show, because I've seen him on GCI, Power 92, and other white media outlets.
No, you call that.
And I said, why won't you come to a predominantly black outlet? And we will give you as much time as humanly possible to get your message out.
But he's not the only one saying that. I just said it. And people are going to say, oh, you're just an old school footy dud who's thinking in the 1950s. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Every child brought into this world deserves to be raised by his mother, biological mother, and biological father. Now, I know that isn't going to happen all the time, and people think things happen. But we have to set a North Star for the black community that has nothing to do
but
with
it takes
what America wants to do.
Embrace black. Because let me put it this way. There are some black women and some black men that think they're above the black culture.
And what's happening to the black culture? Because they're above it.
Well, I mean,
it's falling apart because they think they're above it. If they think that, well, I can have a baby, I don't need no man to have a baby. I've heard sisters say that, and I've heard brothers say, it ain't mine. It ain't mine. Well, man, the court said it's yours. Well, the court could go on. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not. I hear that. I hear that all the time. Hey, brother, I got people in my own family that are tripping like that. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm guilty, but I can see that we have to set a North Star, a goal. That's one thing that really disappointed me about Barack Obama, is that he was not more actively involved in creating the kind of family that he had. He should have been on every billboard, every few blocks on 79th Street with his wife and children talking about fatherhood. If he wanted to do something for black people, I'm not talking about reparations. I'm not talking about programs. I'm talking about just being there for us and speaking to young black men about what it is, what manhood really looks like. And he didn't do that enough in my mind. He did it symbolically, yes, but he wasn't an activist about it. And he could have done that. And I don't think he would have upset white folks by doing that. And that's one of my great disappointments in his presidency.
Wow, I mean, there was a lot there that I can challenge, but
Go for it, my brother. Hey, I
as
want
a
you.
promise to you, I said we was going to do the an exclusive on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. New development is going on in Madison. Please explain what is the new development and why blacks should invest in Madison.
Well, I'm working in Manchester. So first that disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm helping the village or the developer, to be honest, to bring a hotel casino development to the village of Matteson. Now, the state has enabled a South Suburban casino gaming license. And the spirit of this is that there would be a gaming license assigned to a, a predominantly black area. That's what a lot of lawmakers were thinking when they wrote the enabling legislation. So there are four communities that are competing to get this gaming license. There's Matteson, there's Calumet City, there's Homewood, East Hazel Crest, and there is Linwood. Each community has a bid. Um, I am doing Matteson, and I've done some things online for Matteson. If you go Matteson Casino, you'll see some of the videos that I've produced and made over the past year that promote Matteson. I don't have anything against Cal City, Homewood, East Hazel Crest, or Linwood. I'm just saying that Matteson is a place to watch. Matteson, I don't know if you've been out there recently and just drive in the neighborhoods. It's an 80% black community. 80% of the people who live there are homeowners. The average household income in Matteson is $97,000 a year. We're not talking about poverty program here, right? But what they want to do in Matteson is to restore the Lincoln Highway corridor. Those of us who are a bit older than you, not too much older either, can remember when Matteson was home for the Lincoln Mall. And all of that area has gone down because retail has gone down all over the country, really, but it's gone down and it needs to be restored. Black people moved to Matteson over the last 20, 30 years, and now it is a majority black community. It has a black mayor, black trustees, and it is and it is one of the communities that's going to receive, because of this casino deal, a $200 to $300 million private investment. Somebody's going to get it. Black folks are going to get it. That much money. When's the last time you've heard of a 250, $300 million private investment? No government anywhere that's going to go to a black community. And that's about to happen. And black people all over the region really need to get involved in this, in seeing which community, where will this money do the most for the most black people? Not just those that live in Matteson, but those that live in the entire region. Because it used to be 50, 60 years ago that Black Chicago was centered in Bronzeville, right? The Black metropolis. Well, not anymore. Not only are Black people leaving the city and moving to the suburbs, what are we going to have in the suburbs? we want to make sure that this investment goes to the right place. I believe that right place is Matheson.
Do you think, let's say if I want to invest in some businesses, why Matheson is ideal for my business?
Well,
If I'm an entrepreneur, if
mhm.
I'm listening to you, why should I invest
Well, I
in?
tell you what, in the past 2 years, Amazon has built millions of square feet of fulfillment center space. There's a huge depot in Matheson, another in University Park, which is a majority black community, another in Markham, which is another black community, another in Crete and Monee out there in that whole southwest corner of Cook County. Jeff Bezos sees it, he gets it. Wow, that's the only place we have space to put the new economy, retail economy in, which is not a brick and mortar store, but a huge fulfillment center, totally automated. You should see this place at Harlem and Volmer Road in Matheson. It looks like the Pentagon. And they've quietly built it. It's gonna hire 3,200 people. Those people need places to go to lunch. Those people need information. We hope those people are using some of their money at the casino in Matheson. So that area is growth. And guess what? 25 years ago, Jesse Jackson Jr. was leading the charge to build an airport at Peatone, which is in Will County, just south of Richton Park and Matheson and University Park. That airport, at the time that Jesse was promoting it, Jesse Jr., he was saying, if we build an airport, the businesses will come. If we build it, they will come. But check it out. They came already. So the next time they start talking about that airport out there, Amazon's going to be at the table. And Amazon's not the only company. It's huge trucking firms are now building their logistical centers there at where Highway 57 meets the Lincoln Highway and Interstate 80. Those are black neighborhoods. Those are black neighborhoods. We got to do what Booker T. Washington said: cast down our bucket and work that field that you're on. Don't be out here chasing white folks all over. You don't have to. Now the white folks are coming to you. So we need to start thinking about where we are going to build the new black metropolis in this region. Where are we going to root? I can, if you have black people, see the black people in Matheson work at the post office. They drive buses. They're school teachers. Lots of school teachers live out there. They work middle management jobs at any number of companies. But I said before, $97,000 a year average household income. No crime. No crime. There's no trash in the street. They have good schools in Matheson. These are black folks. These are black folks. This is what we used to have in Brownsville.
So if I'm listening right now, and is there a possibility that I could buy some acres, some land?
Oh, absolutely.
How can I do that?
You go buy a house in Matheson. You go buy a house. If you want to live in a neighborhood of black people that are about it, that aren't about drive-bys and gang banging and drill rapping and all that, go there. I mean, you can go there. You know, if I had young children again, I live downtown now in a small apartment. But if I had children and I wanted a good school and I wanted good, solid black people teaching them, I'd look at Matheson. I mean, I would seriously consider Matheson, and there are other communities in the south suburbs where the same kinds of things are happening. But that's where we have moved. We have moved to the suburbs, particularly our black quote unquote middle class. They're living in the suburbs now. And what's happening in the city is not our best right now. The drive-bys and the carjackings and the stuff that we're doing in the city, that's not the best for us. I mean, we're here. Here we sit we're in Westchester. Man, 20 years ago, I'm not going to call Westchester a sundown town, but I'm gonna tell you now, black people live in Westchester, in Broadview, in Hillside. We I don't have the numbers, and you've looked at the census numbers, but I bet you right now more black people in this region live outside the city than live inside the city.
As a promise, we will have you back in a couple of weeks in November to go over the census because they did issue, they undercounted that. So I wanted to know your opinion. Also, the Haitians, which we didn't get into. And we'll talk more about Matheson as a promise.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to hear more because they're going to make a decision probably in January about where this development will take place.
Okay, thank you so much. And we'll have you in a couple of weeks. That's going to do it for us on the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. A special announcement. The one and only Secretary of State Jesse White will join us in studio. He's going to do his last tour around with medias, and he's going to kick it off right here on Intellectual Radio, the Drive at 5. Thanks to Earl Winfrey, our executive producer. Wanda, who's behind the scenes. You guys have a wonderful week.